We back. Actually, you're back. You tuned back in. Thank you for tuning in. You know what it is. It's the RRT Boxing Show. The Ready Talk Boxing Show. For those who are first-time viewers, thank you for tuning in. Hopefully by the end of this show, you will become a new subscriber and part of the RRT audience. And those who have came back, thank you. Now, we are doing it back. It's been a while, but this is a full-length show of the RRT Boxing Show. We're going to go over some boxing news, some topics, talk about them. Then we're going to go into some good fights this weekend. You know, this is the 13th. It's more than just the Terrence Crawford and Benavidez. It's a lot of fights happening this weekend. We're going to go over some of those fights. And then we're going to go over some of my top 5 fights of that weekend, and then we're going to do some predictions for those weekends, some of them, and then we're going to end the show with a Mr.A's thoughts. If that's all, Danny, to you, stay tuned in. Give a thumbs up right now. Give it at the end of the show. I appreciate it no matter what. Just don't give me the finger. Oh, here's that thumb, baby. Is a thumb a finger? I think it is, right? A phalange, right? So let's get right into it. This week's boxing topics, it's pretty hot ones, you know. I think we'll start off with something that doesn't have to do with this weekend, but still a hot topic, and that's the Canelo and Rocky Fielding. Now, everyone's talking about, is it shit? Is it good? What the fuck's going on here? And because we know Canelo has just defeated Triple G, got the WBC middleweight title, and happens to be his first defense since he did take the belt off a champion. His first defense could be a voluntary. So not only did he take a voluntary fight, he's choosing not even to defend that belt. Fucking Canelo. It's the same guy who made his Canelo weight. So hey, he makes another fucking. I'm doing what the fuck I want to do. I'm redhead. I'm fucking cinnamon. I'm Canelo. Saul Alvarez. I run the show. So he's going up to 168 to take on Rocky Fielding, the WBA world champion. Rocky Fielding just defeated Tyrone Ziyech. Pretty dominantly, beat the shit out of him. Beat him like almost post to post, corner to corner, jabbed him, hooked him to the body, got him out of there pretty viciously, shockingly to me. You know, now people are saying this is a shit fight. Do we not like underdogs? Do we not believe in them? You know, because you know if you like boxing for that fact, you know, for the fact of an underdog story, this could be a great underdog. What the fuck did I just witness moment? Rocky Fielding is going to have the height on him. He's going to have the length on him. Rocky Fielding has power. You know, he has the jab. Canelo's only, 5'9"? With like, I think a 70 something inch reach. So he's going to be a very underdog when it comes to attributes. He might be, Canelo's going to be the fleet of foot. The faster hand speed. But I'm telling you, Rocky Fielding, he impresses me because I always pick against him. You know, there's never been really a fight where I picked Rocky Fielding because I just didn't believe in him. But watching him, the dude keeps proving me wrong. So he earned my respect through doubting him and watching him. Like I said, the RRT Boxing Show is only a year and a half old. So some fighters I learned, some fighters I knew. And Rocky Fielding I knew but learned more with the show. Now, what makes it a little more interesting is, what if Canelo wins? You know what the fuck you talking about, Mr.A? What if? What if Canelo wins? He gets the WBA regular super middleweight title. And what just happened at super middleweight? Oh, yeah, that's right. Cocaine Benavidez had got stripped. And there's a WBC vacant super middleweight title. And Canelo being the WBC middleweight champion, he might just get that bump. And you know, Suleiman, he's all about Canelo. You know, he's about Canelo, Team Canelo, the WBC. Now, will they bump him up into that interim bout, or fight that winner between Yardaman and Durrell? You know, that winner fights Canelo, the WBA regular champion. Can you be the WBA regular champion? And I'm not too sure if you could be the regular champion and a super champion of another organization. I'm not too sure on that, but that's possible. And then you can have a Canelo who's a unified champion at super middleweight out of nowhere within what, 6 months, you know. And then you got people saying he's ducking Charlo. Well, Mr.A did a video on my opinion of that, and I would go briefly into that just in case you are a new viewer and you have not watched that. It's called Canelo won, now what for Charlo. So basically, you know, everyone thought, you know, Charlo has the interim belt and he deserves the #1 shot at the winner. Perhaps, you know, the interim, you know, if you look into the WBC rules, the interim never really becomes a mandatory, and either does the silver. The silver and interim does not become mandatories. So it's kind of interesting how people are going around saying that Charlo is the mandatory. And same with like I said, the silver champions. I don't want to go into the white, you know, but if I felt that Charlo don't deserve this shot, that's why when I was happy, I thought it was great news when they announced Triple G, when they mandated Triple G versus Charlo. I was ecstatic about that fight. I think that is perfect because that's basically what my whole video was about. Charlo needs to defend that championship belt one time to show us he is worthy to becoming a super champion. This ain't super welterweight no more. That what you did at super welterweight does not count. You're at the middleweight. You're interim champion. You know, your competition was so. You beat who you had to beat. We get it. But now that you are an interim champion, do you deserve to be a super welterweight champion? I mean, a super middleweight champion. Do you deserve it? We don't know. How about you defend that interim title? You know, because interim titles are usually when the champion is hurt. You got it because the champion was taking a money fight. The champion was still around. You should have never got an interim bout to begin with. But now that you are interim title, we're not saying you don't have the skills. Mr.A is not saying that Charlo does not have the skills to beat Canelo, beat Triple G. I'm just saying, I believe he needs to defend that belt. So whether it's Triple G, whether it's someone else, Charlo needs to defend that interim title at least one time to show he is worthy to be the real super WBC super middleweight champion. That is my thoughts on that. So that is Charlo, my ideal of Charlo. Canelo taking on Rocky Fielding. That is what I think of that whole little weirdness right there. Then we're going to move on to another little story that is big. And we are talking more middleweight action here. We're talking Billy Joe Saunders. Man, oh man, oh man. You know, just when it was looking pretty decent for Billy Joe, just when he gave me the laugh of the month or last month, or when he made that little crackhead snack. If you haven't seen it on Twitter, I know he got hell for it. He got fined by the British Boxing Board Committee when he made that junkie punch that dude. If you don't think that's funny, fucking go get your funny bone checked. You know, that shit was funny as fuck. You know, but obviously the boxing wants to have a nice, clean image, so they didn't think it was funny. Mr.A wouldn't have fined him. You know, it's fuck it. So he goes around doing weird shit, dogs Canelo, and then the dude pops up with a PED. So that fucks that up for him. You know, he's on the United Kingdom drug. I forgot what it's called. UKAD something drug. UKDA. I don't. You know, guys. You guys know what I'm talking about. He's on the VADA version of the UK drug program. And it's clean and it's acceptable all the way up until fight night, you know. But the thing is, he signed a VADA drug policy part of the contract. So what's clean over there is not clean over here. You got to know what crosses the paths. So therefore, not only did he get a failed drug test, he didn't get granted his license to fight in Boston because there's a United States drug law. And when you fail a drug test, you don't get a job. Not my job. We hire people. Hey, go take a drug test. we don't get so many hires because they fail the drug test. They pass the interview. They do all that. They sit there. I give them the drug test thing. I never hear from them again. So Billy Joe failed a drug test in the United States. He didn't get the job. Now he's appealing it, but you know, it's not too often someone appeals the application process at my job and say, "Hey, I only fucked up a little bit. Can I still have the job?" And we give them the job. It's not too often, or if at all, that happens. So I'll be surprised if Billy Joe isn't stripped, and the bout between Demetrius Andres, who is facing the number 2 middleweight for the WBO, Walter Kawutan Dakwa, is bumped up for the real WBO middleweight. And if you're interested in the prediction and breakdown, I just did that short little prediction breakdown segment of the show. I did that right before we record this one. So that is peculiar. Like I said, and Billy Joe had that junkie punch this shit out that dude. Oh shit! Just thinking about it. Oh, I'm sorry. Okay, back to the boxing show. I'm sorry. I love that shit. My funny bone was good to go. I loved it. And then moving on to the show, we have a nice fight that's getting some twinkle lights here, getting some sprinkling dust. Can it happen? Call out, talking shit, doing that boxing talk, that ready talking boxing. We got 2 fighters doing it. Dylan White says Ortiz was a bitch. I offered to fight him. He wanted more money. He backed himself out of it. Luis Ortiz is like, motherfucker, I will beat your ass. You think I'm scared to fight you? I got a spot on the Deontay Wilder Tyson Fury pay-per-view. We're going to be in Los Angeles on a big-ass card. Bring your ass over to the United States. Get in front of a whole bunch of eyeballs all around the world. I'll beat your ass on this card. Great fight. It's going to be a big fucking stage right there. Dylan White could go there, beat Ortiz, call Deontay Wilder like, hey, Deontay Wilder, I just beat your fucking boogeyman. You said you're going to get me a shot. Fight me. I beat the shit out of Luis Ortiz. Better than you beat him. And everyone in America will be looking at him like, oh shit, he's calling out Deontay Wilder, blah, 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 blah. He says he's going to fuck Deontay Wilder up. And if Deontay Wilder wins and knocks out Fury in a nice theoretic, theoretics, whatever, in a theater matter, you know, oh shit, Deontay Wilder fucking knocked out the Gypsy King, made his leg do the shake, and we got Dylan White saying he's gonna fuck him up. American fans will think Dylan White is a fucking superhero, a super villain, however you want to say it. He'd be bigger than AJ in the States. But no, Dylan White don't take that opportunity. He says, nah, I'll fight you on the 22nd in the UK. And I looked up in BoxRec, there's nothing scheduled for the 22nd in the UK. Now, they're saying that the rematch of Derek Chisora and Dylan White supposed to be taking place. What the fuck? Now is that fucking rematch time? Oh, now we want to do it. Now, Eddie Hearn, now you fucking want Derek Chisora and White. Get the fuck out of here. You know, cancel that shit. Put him on the fucking first. But you know what? Luis Ortiz is fucking going against the grain. You hear boxers say, whatever my team thinks is best for me, whatever I'm going to get together with my team, we're going to talk it over, I'll talk to my promoter, talk to my manager, whatever my team thinks is best for me. Luis Ortiz said, fuck what my team thinks. Take me off the Wilder undercard. I'm going to go whoop his ass on the 22nd. I'm going to lose this big stage to go over there. Will he make money? It's a good possibility he'll make a little more money. But they always say not all money is good money. It's kind of weird to believe. But like I said, that's a big ass stage in the United States on that undercard. In the UK, it'll be a nice fight. It's a nice fight in fucking Congo. It's a nice fight in Alaska. It's a nice fight in fucking Brazil. Wherever they fight, it's a fucking great fight. But where is the stage and where the lights shine bright? In fucking Hollywood, baby. California, Los Angeles, Staples Center, the home of the fucking Los Angeles Lakers. You're gonna have Hollywood crew there. So it's a risky ass move. Luis Ortiz says, fuck you management, fuck you promotion. I'm not listening to you, because his team didn't want it. His team did not want Luis Ortiz. They're like, no, you know, he declined the offer when the WBC first made the mandatory. He declined when we first offered to fight him, come over here, and now he wants us to go over there. Why should you do this? The stage ain't as big. I don't like him talking shit. I'm gonna whoop his ass. Best fight the best. Now, if Matchroom Mr. Eddie Hearn does not make this fight, what happens to Eddie Hearn? What happens to Dylan White? What happens to the credibility? And they go, oh, well, it took too long, because it's already said, Ortiz already said, send me the contract. Send me the contract. Now, like I said, what happens to the credibility? Does the fight get delayed? Is it going to take too long and Ortiz can't get back on the Wilder contract if the fight doesn't come through and they go with Chisora? Because me, myself, what I think is going to happen, what I think is part of the bullshit, the horse manure, the cow dung, is Eddie Hearn's going to string it along, and part of the contract is a 2-fight deal on its own. You know, I get Luis Ortiz next fight on the zone, and Luis Ortiz only wants a 1-fight deal. You know, like, now fuck you, man. I went with you for 3 fights and you gave me fucking nothing. Well, why should I go back to you? Who's my second fight? You can fight Derek Chisora. You can fight fucking Derek Chisora, Mr. Ortiz. So I think it's gonna be one of those 2-fight deals, string-alongs. If Ortiz wants it, there it is. But we'll see. We'll see. So that is that news. Moving on to a nice little other news. It's interesting news. Interesting. Welterweight news. You know, of course, we got Terrence Crawford talking shit to Jose Benavidez. Back then, like I said, it was already staged. We knew this fight was coming, you know. And if you listen to the show, if you tuned into the show from the get-go, I've been telling you on about a couple videos, as soon as Terrence Crawford went up to welterweight, he has no one to fight. And I just did the video about why Top Rank and Top Rank and Bob Arum are really okay to push the Spence fight, because Bob Arum's always been saying, no, we're going to wait for that, and we're going to wait for that until a nice pay-per-view status. Now they're pushing for that fight because there is no fucking one to fight in the WBO rankings for Terence Crawford. So they staged that little run-in back there. I think it was staged, you know, not to the point where the words and the confrontation was fake, but they kind of forced them to meet, you know. And they knew Jose Benavidez was a hothead. They knew he fucking was pissed off about the fight, so they kind of forced the meeting and hey, put Terence Crawford in front of that knucklehead. Something's gonna happen, you know, that type of stage, you know. So it's kind of fake reality TV. It's real, but it's not real. Put him in front of the knucklehead, and the knucklehead will do something. You know, you guys get what I'm saying. I'm not trying to say Jose Benavidez is a knucklehead, but you guys get it. And then, so of course, and then they're doing the open working train. They're doing the open working gym today, the public workout. Benavidez doing his thing. Here comes Crawford coming, talking his shit, trying to sell the fight. Because up until yesterday, 2 days ago, this fight was not being mentioned at all. Thanks to ESPN bringing him along, doing his thing, it's getting a good promotion at the 3-4 day push, but you know, it wasn't doing shit. And is this going to be a good fight? I'm interested in it because I want to see I want to see Crawford go against this taller, lanky man, just to see what he does. He's going to be no taller than not too much of a taller than Breeders Prescott with the reach and height, but you know, just to see, you know, it's been a back and forth beef. I want to see how it goes. And then we move on to another welterweight. Most boxing fans might not give a fuck about this, but I think it's interesting. I think it's really because it's a welterweight catch weight. 154, so it's 147 going to 154. I believe it is 155.6, 154.6. Almost a it's almost a Canelo weight. And that is Jeff Horn taking on the Australian legend himself, Anthony Modine. Modine saying this is his last fight. Modine been wanting this fight for a long time. I was on the show, the RRT boxing show. We said it right here. Jeff Horn should have took that fight with Modine before the Crawford fight. He would have made a shitload of money in that fight, and if he beats him, which everyone thinks he's going to beat the old 43-year-old man, that would have raised his stakes, his height even higher, got more money. Going into the Crawford fight would have been fucking huge. He could have got more money, you know. I think it would have been a nice double payday. Instead of he's doing it backwards, he still gets paid, but you know, so that's gonna be interesting. You know, you got a rugged ass Jeff Horn being shitted on by the veteran great, Australian great Anthony Modine. Modine is saying he's gonna stop him, gonna fuck him up. Horn is saying if I don't beat Modine, it's gonna be hard for me to even come back. You know, he's talking shit. It's not just like, hey, I'm losing. I lost to a 43-year-old. I lost to the 43-year-old. You remember, this is an Australian legacy fight. You got the young whippersnapper, the new Australian guy, taking on the Australian legend who is talking shit on the new guy. So I knock him out. The young whippersnapper is saying, I'm going to stop him. I got to stop him. That's going to be a great fight. I don't know who's involved. Some people might say it's Mr.A. Thumbs down on that one, Mr.A. Mr.A. thinks that's a nice, catchy fight. I'm going to try my best, and I hope I get to see it. I hope ESPN picks it up since they kind of work with Jeff Horn. So I hope that's an ESPN Plus fight. I'm going to be on that shit. So in fact, as Australia, it's probably going to be a 4 a.m. fight. I could watch that one. You know? And the last topic of the show before we move on is the WBS the World Boxing Super Series, folks. The second quarterfinal matches are coming up. We got Olani and Tete. We got Tabiti and Pfeiffer. You know, this is a great fight. You got one of the favorites to make it to reach the finals, and Tete taking on Mishi Alanoy, the young, hot amateur, super fast-tracked Russian. You know, that's gonna be like, does he stand a chance? Everyone, people are so high on Tete, they're thinking Tete just gonna knock this guy dick in the dirt, you know. And you gotta remember, Tete, his last fight against, what was it? I want to say Navarro, but I forgot the guy's name. But the number one mandatory, yeah, the dude didn't make the fight, but Tete did not live up to the expectations we thought he was going to come out. Remember, we were like, oh shit, Tete's going to blast this guy out. Yeah, the dude didn't give much opportunity for Tete to move, but Tete didn't do shit. It went all 10 rounds with like a 40-year-old, or 12 rounds with a 40-year-old. So, you know, going into the first round, Tete was a little questionable, you know. Is he who we thought he was? You know, was that just a flash knockdown, that great 10-second, 11-second? You know, is Illinois that fast-track Russian that everyone thinks he is? It's going to be an interesting fight, folks. It's a very interesting fight. And then you got the cruiserweight. You got Andrew the Beast Tabeti taking on Pfeiffer. You know, this is the moment that we all been waiting for, at least us American boxing fans who are cruiserweight fans, myself included. Tabeti, you know, every country rides behind their fighters, you know. I'm not being biased, but, you know, you do watch and pay attention to your countrymen. Just like, hey, I'm pretty sure if you're watching this in Spain, you pay a little more attention to Sergio Garcia than I do, you know. I watch him, but you probably pay more attention to him, you know. So we're just like, okay, Tabeti, the cruiserweight. Why weren't you in the first tournament? Where have you been? This is your opportunity now. This is an opportunity for him to get that shine, grab that attention, and I'm interested in to see what he does against Pfeiffer, who is a hard-hitting Russian, you know. So both undefeated guys. Should be a nice fight. So therefore, that is the boxing topics, and now we're going to go into this weekend. The 13th is a solid weekend, folks. And like I said, it's more than just Terrence Crawford and Benavidez on the ESPN. We're going to pull up the fights to come through. Now, we're looking at it. Starting in, where are we at here? The 13th, folks. Where are we at? It's a lot. Sorry about this. I fucked it up. Alright, now 13th. Starting off with the fight. I'm interested because where's one fight right here, folks? Right here. Just give me a couple seconds. Give me a couple seconds. The Double RT Boxing Show. I'm your host, Mr.A. Hit that. If you're already interested, hit that thumbs up. Hit that subscription button while you're waiting. While you're waiting for me to get my shit together. You know, starting on 13th, you have your Australian. If you're a female fan of the fight game, or just a fan of the female fight game, I should say, that's what I meant to say, you got the WBA World Female Light Flyweight Champion, the 34-1 Jessica Bopp taking on Sandra Robles, 21-2. That is going to be a nice fight. You know, earlier, just a few weeks ago, the Argentinian Deborah Dinonokis lost her belt against, I forgot who she lost to, but she just lost. So is another Argentinian queen gonna go down? You know, Deborah was like 32-0. Pop's 34-1. So it's interesting to see. You know, Robles throws punches. So that's a good fight coming up on the 13th, folks. Good fight. And then also on the 13th, we're coming into from Australia, we travel on over to, we're going to skip all these right here, skip all these, skip all those. We're going from Australia to Russia, the land of the WBS Season 2, the World Boxing Super Series. Like I said, like I mentioned earlier, we got Zoliani Teti taking on Mikhail Olian, Andrew Tabeti taking on Ruslan Pfeiffer. So you got Teti, who's 27-3. Illinois 4-0. That's the WBO World Bantamweight title. You got Tabeti taking on Pfeiffer. Tabeti has his regional belts, which I'm glad he has. More people in the United States need to get those regional belts. We fuck up on that. Us as boxing fans in the United States, we don't get around fighters getting those regional belts, those intercontinental belts as other countries do. You guys support it. You guys are cool on it, and that's why the United States boxing fan base is kind of fucked. You know, we don't celebrate those belts like we should. And then from there, from Russia, we're going to go over to the UK. Now the UK is going to have some good cards. We're looking at right here. It's an interesting card, folks. This one, I think it's not big names, but I think it's going to be a quite entertaining card. I think the Glenn Foote and the Robbie Davis Jr. fight, I think that's going to be entertaining. You know, I do think Glenn Foote likes to come forward, likes to fucking, he won't quit. You have to beat the shit out of Glenn Foote. You know, Robbie Davis taking his revenge, getting his Commonwealth belt back, or he's getting his what did he belt he get back from Michael? But he got his revenge, getting knocked out. He beat Michael, who knocked him out. So that's gonna be a nice domestic fight. It's for the Commonwealth super lightweight, the BBC super lightweight. It's good title. I think that's gonna be a good fight. I don't know who Francisco Petra is. Let me see if I recognize his face. No, I don't recognize his face, but I recognize who. Okay, now I kind of recognize him from doing Edith Talley research. That's where I recognize the name. Okay, and I know Francisco Petra a little bit by doing Edith Talley research. He's taking on Louis Retson, 17-0 for the vacant European lightweight title. Louis Retson, I think he's good. You know, I know he just had that little whatever promotional. The soccer team said he can't do that, the logo anymore. Fucking A. But I think that's gonna be a nice little fight. And the 7-0 Joshua Baptiste is taking on the Tony Averlant. Now, I still have not really seen too much of the Joshua guy. I've been hearing his name. To me, like I said, I haven't watched him, so this is just my opinion on it. I've been, you know, you can say, hey, if you haven't watched him, shut the fuck up. You know, but it seems like Eddie Hearn is doing what promoters and fighters do. They're using Anthony Yard's name to build this guy up. You know, he's always saying, hey, Anthony Yard, fight Joshua. Anthony Yard, fight Joshua. Joshua wants Anthony Yard. And you know, Anthony's like, dude, I'm not going to fight him. Stop using my name to try and make him popular. So what do? They go and fight Tony Averlant, the guy Anthony Yard just fought. It's going to be a nice comparison. Oh, especially, I think, how many rounds did Yard go with him? I think he went 7, and that's almost the deepest Yard went, and he looked yardish, you know, taking his time. Everyone thought he was going to get him out of this sooner and quicker, but so that's going to be a nice little comparison. And then on the undercard, you have it's always good to see the fucking roughhousing brawler Anthony Fowler improving his career. He's at 7-0. And then also on the 13th, another UK, Cyclone Promotions. It wouldn't be a Cyclone Promotions if there wasn't no IBO belts. You know that. But, you know, there's 2 fights on this card I am very interested in. You know, we have the heavyweight Martin Bakoli Alunga taking on Michael Hunter for the vacant IBO. Like I said, it ain't no Cyclone Promotion if there ain't no IBO belt on it. The IBO Intercontinental Heavyweight. I think that's going to be a nice fight. You know, Bakoli is a nice overseas heavyweight. I don't think he quite has any rumbling in the United States, but boxing fans, you know, heavyweights, if you follow heavyweight boxing, you heard the name Bakoli. Most recently, he was in the sparring camp of Anthony Joshua for Povetkin, so he's been getting good work recently. And then also, I think the co-main event for that fight is for the IBO, of course, IBO World Female Lightweight title, the champion being Chantel You know, Chantel Cameron. She's taking on Hyana Santana. So 7-0, taking on a nice veteran at 36-9. That, like I said, I think Chantel, you know, she's a beast. I think she's a fucking beast. You know, I like what McGuigan's doing with her. I like how he's making her aggress. She has that aggression style now. He's just fine tuning it, trying to get her to like move the head in her punch because she stalks you down. She cuts the ring off well. I'm interested in seeing more of her progression, so that's gonna be a good card. And then we go on to more 13. Like I said, the 13th is more than just Terrence Crawford and Jose Benavidez. The 13th is loaded. We have we go from Argentina to Russia to the UK for a few cards, and then we go to the United States. We got the Terrence Crawford, Jose Benavidez card. You know, on there is also, we know about that fight, so I'm not going to talk about that fight. On that undercard, I believe is Michaela Meyer. She's on that card, so it's going to be good to see her progression. You have Carlos Adames taking on Joshua Clowney. You know, that's more of a should be a show because Joshua was a once thought of super welterweight, but his last performance against Williams, he threw no punches, kind of really hurt his stock. This is for the NABF super welterweight title. I believe that's the sister belt of the IBF. So you got Carlos Adames 14-0, taking on 14-2 Joshua Clowney for the NABF, the IBF sister belt. And then, but the main one on there, well, not the main one besides the Terrence Crawford, but the fight on there is Shakur Stevenson, 8-0, going for his first 10-rounder. Is a vacant WBC Continental Americas featherweight. Like I said, it's these regional belts. These regional belts, man, they're getting them. And like I said, if you've been watching this show since the beginning, since the creation of the RRT boxing, you know Mr.A effing loves those belts. I love all types of belts. I think it's very good for fighters to get all those belts. And I wish us American boxing fans will understand those belts. You know, I know sometimes it's really hard to understand the alphabet soup belts, but just to get more behind them and how it pumps up fighters, it brings them up the rankings. And I think this is great that Carlos Adames is trying to get that sister IBF belt. You got Shakur going out there getting that Continental Americas belt. He's taking on the Valora Simeon, the 21-2 veteran. He's age 39. He was last in there with Scott Quigg, Lee Shelby, but his last fight was against Scott Quigg. So like I said, he's 39. It's his first 10-rounder. It's Simeon's there to lose, but it's an experience fight, 10-rounder, kind of a free belt. That's what kind of sucks though. But hey, and then to top it off, the 13th is going to close out in the United States with, you got on the undercard of a Golden Boy card, you got Rashidi Ellis, 20-0, the IBF North American welterweight champion. So I think this might, I always said this is either going to be, I believe this is going to be Terrence Crawford somehow is going to fight this guy because he's ranked somewhere like in the bottom 10 or like 10 or 11 for the WBO, but him being the IBF North American champion, he might just be a voluntary fight for Spence. But I'm pretty sure he's going to work with the WBO Golden Boy and Top Rank before. So, like I said, his opponent is a TBA. It's going to be a little interesting to see who that is. But the headliner is the WBO light flyweight champion, Angel Acostas, taking on Abraham Rodriguez. So I'm going to do more research in that one. Hopefully I could cover that fight because, you know, the Angel Acostas is the champion of the division that is pretty hot right now. You know, it's making some noise because of, where is he at here? The WBA. He's making some noise because of Ken Shiru. You got Hiki Butler, and then the IBF. You know, that I forgot if that's still vacant right now. But between, you got Ken Shiru, who just defeated Milan Milindo on the previous last week WBSS card. You got Hiki Butler, and like I said, the WBO champion. That's gonna be a nice unification bout. Who, if he decides to fight, whether it's Hiki Butler or Kenshiro, but that's the closeout for the 13th. Now that I mentioned all those fights, hopefully it kind of didn't just waste and go. Just so I know it's a lot of information. We're gonna go over some few fights. I'm gonna go over the top 5 fights I am looking forward to out of all those fights. We're gonna do some honorable mentions here. Like I said, I think the Glenn Foot and the Davies fight is gonna be a good one. The Shakur fight is gonna be a nice one. Ritson, I'm always intrigued to see how Ritson his progress is going. And then, like I said, the Chantel. Those are some nice honorable mentions. Now, the top 5 fights I'm looking forward to on the 13th is number 5. I'm looking forward to the Martin Bakole and Michael Hunter. I think that's going to be a nice fight. I'm very intrigued in that fight. Number 4, I'm wanting to see Chantel taking on Diana Santana. Like I said, I want to see the progression. Actually, this is the top 6. I'm sorry, So we'll take away Chantel fight. Even though I'm a big fan of her, I want to see that Bakole fight a little more. So we'll put the Chantel in the honorable mention. Number 4, we're gonna go with Tabiti and Pfeiffer. Number 5, Bakole versus Hunter. Number 4, Tabiti and Pfeiffer. I want to see Tabiti get his opportunity. I hope he does good. Number 3, folks. I'm gonna go with. I want to see Terrence Crawford and Benavidez. That's the number 3 fight I'm looking forward this weekend. Even though it's probably the biggest name, I'm looking at it's number 3 on my list. I hope Terrence Crawford beats the shit out of him and makes a name. But at the same time, I would love to see some rumbles in the boxing game. Who doesn't love a nice upset? Like I said, Rocky Fielding beating the shit out of Canelo. That will be great for boxing. Be like, holy shit. Holy fucking shit. And I think if Benavidez beats Terrence Crawford, it'll be holy horse dung. So at number 2, the fight I want to see is Jessica Bopp taking on Sandra Robles for the WBA female light flyweight champion. I like Jessica Bopp. She has this, like I said, if you've been watching this show, the RRT boxing show, Mr.A loves the boxing game, the sweet science, hit and not get hit. Jessica Bopp uses every inch of the ring. She's a short girl, but yet she comes in and tries to fight. Boom, 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 switch, hit moves, use the whole ring. And she's going to be fighting a taller girl who brings thunder. So a person has a short arm reach, who has to go in and out, and move the ring, is going to have to somehow find a way to handle a pressure fighter. That's going to be good. It's going to be good. And I said, and a lot of pressure is on her because a fellow Argentinian queen just lost her belt. And then the number 1 fight I'm looking forward to is the WBS, World Boxing Super Series, second quarterfinal bantamweight match. Zolani Teti taking on Olan. I don't know. It's the 27-3, the 4-0. It's got me intrigued. The WBO World Bantamweight Champion, and from right there, that is where we're gonna do our first breakdown, folks. We're gonna break this fight down. What chances does Alion has? He's 4-0. And Teti has such a big attribute, such a humongous advantage in this fight. It's where are we going? Let's bring them up. Let's bring these people up. the challenger, Aloyan, Mikhail Aloyan, Mikhail Aloyan, 4-0, no knockouts, 30 years old. He's a southpaw. He's at 5'4.5", and he's going against Teti, who's 27-3, 21 knockouts, 5'9" with a 72-inch reach. 5'4" against 5'9" with a 72-inch reach. And Aloyan has 0 knockouts against 21 knockouts. 4-0, 27-3. Now, Teti to me is just what the hype is. You know, the dude has power, but he's a very patient jabber as well. He won't overcommit and leave himself open. You know, he'll sit there, jab you, and just wait for that nice left hook, left uppercut, jab you. You know, he knows how to, the fact that he has that 72-inch reach, he's big as a bantamweight. So he knows how to take a small step back, make you fall just a little short, and crack the shit at you. And if he wants to come forward, he has the reach to get you before you get him. And then what is going to be tough, because I like Mikhail Aloyan. I like him a lot. I really do. Like I said, I like him for the same reason I like Jessica Bop. The dude is a mover. He uses the whole ring. He comes in there, pop, 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 you know, fires off shots, gets out the way. He uses angles, pop, pop. He works the body, he jabs the face, jabs the stomach, hooks. The thing is, the power. You know, footwork. Going off feet work, I think he has better footwork than Teti. Going on defense, I think he has better defense than Teti. Now, when it comes to offense, Teti has the power. He has the longer reach, so it looks like he has the better jab, but he pumps it out there, he snaps it. So we give the jab to Teti. Now, this is where it gets tricky. Aloyan, he fires one punch at a time. You know, until he really feels comfortable, that's when he starts letting combinations go. And that's usually around round 5, round 6. It's going to be hard as hell to jump in and out on Teti with that 72-inch reach, firing one punch at a time. You know, I'm very intrigued to see how he's going to get these angles. Offensively, I'm going to lean with Teti just for that fact that Mikhail only fires one punch at a time for like a good third or first 5 rounds of the fight, you know. So bad I want to choose my boy Aloyan, but I'm going to go with Teti on this one just for the fact that I don't see how he could beat Teti firing one shot off at a time. Like I said, I think he has a better movement to go in and out, use the ring, because if you can make Teti move his feet, just like when he first lost, when he lost against Mindy. Mindy was moving and Teti couldn't really get that power up. And then Mindy, even though Mindy was coming at him, you know, Mindy was coming forward, but he was making Teti move his feet as well. And when Teti was moving his feet, that reach wasn't as strong. His power wasn't as strong because he couldn't set his feet. And Aloyan's going to move around and not allow Teti to set his feet as much, and the power and the reach won't be as strong. But I don't see how Aloyan one punch at a time for 12 rounds is going to outpoint Teti. It'd be fucking amazing if he does it. I would love it. I really want him to win that fight. I just don't think he is. I'm going to go with Teti on a bad stoppage on that one, late night stoppage. I think he just eventually, it's just Aloyan's one punch at a time is just gonna get caught eventually. But I want him to win, but I just don't see it happening. And then number 2 prediction for the night, we are going to break down, which one should we do here, folks? Let's do Jessica Bop. Jessica Bop, folks. Argentinian WBA female lightweight champion, taking on Sandra Robles. Like I said, this fight, if you're a female boxing fan, then you already know this is going to be a good fight. This is going to be a scrap. I do believe this is going to be a good fucking scrap. Because as good as Bop is, she's short and she has a short reach. And she's going to have to work the angles, work the gaps, do some step backs, counter on Sandra Robles, because Sandra Robles is going to come in swinging punches, you know. And recently pressure fighters have been very successful, you know, going back from obviously the more recent one was Porter, but just in the last like 3 weeks, pressure fighters been really getting the job done. Daniel Roman recently, just constant pressure, knocked out McDonald. So Sandra Robles, who's coming in here at 21-2 with a 43 knockout ratio. She's aged 24 too. So Jessica Bop, I think, is like 34. She's a southpaw and 5'3" with a 43 knockout ratio, 117 rounds. So she's experienced, 21-2, 10 knockouts. She's been in the ring with Brenda Ramos, you know, takes a good fight, takes a good punch. Annabelle Ortiz, you know, that's a champion. If you know the female, you know Annabelle Ortiz puts in that work. She fought the Maria Soledad Vargas, you know, a little name that always in there with people. And then you, like I said, this is the big step up test for Sandra. She's taking on Jessica Bop, who is 34 but at 5 foot, so she's giving up 2 inches. 43 knockout ratio as well, 254 rounds, so she has the experience. Like I said, footwork, I'm going with Jessica Bop. Defense, Jessica Bop. She moves, she's crafty, you know, she's nice to watch. She'll move to the left. She'll move to the right, do that pack. Yeah, she'll move to the right and jab you with the left. Move to the right, head off target, you know. She's good. She switches from, you know, she'll switch. She gives you a skinny side angle. I'm gonna go with Jessica Bop to win this fight. I think it's, oh man, because punching combinations, I go with Bop, but Sandra Robles throws combinations nonstop. They're not as sharp as Bop, but she throws mean intention, straight 1-2s and hooks. I believe Bop will be put to the test, but I think the footwork will save her on this one, and she will win. If it's not by a nice late night stoppage, it's going to be like a split decision. But I think Pop should win this one. And then the final breakdown and prediction we're going to do here, folks, is on that of a nice, like I said, it's a showcase fight. It's a showcase fight for the young American from my state, straight out of just a kid out of Newark, Shakur Stevenson. So, you know, I'm going to support him from my state. You know, he's from the same city as my mom. I'm going to support the young lad, Shakur Stevenson, taking on the veteran Vilor Simeon for a WBC Continental Americas. Like I said, this is a showcase fight. I'm going with Shakur Stevenson, obviously. You know, he's the better offensive fighter. He's the slicker of the defense. He has better feet work. Although Simeon's not bad. He can move around the ring. He knows how to work. He can throw all the punches. He knows how to survive. He survived against Quigg. The dude can move around the ring. He's going to do it against Stevenson. Now, all we're going to see is can Shakur finish him? Because Scott Quigg couldn't finish this guy. The guy knows how to move. He has good defense. He knows how to cover up. He knows how to throw enough punches. He knows how to hold. He has a chin. So it's going to be real interesting to see what Shakur Stevenson we see. This is his first 10-rounder. So I'm going to go with, I think Shakur is going to stop this guy though. I think we're going to see a nice new side of Shakur. See him get a little strength. I think he's going to work the body. I think he's going to show some of that body stab jab. And he's going to get him out of there. So I'm going with Shakur Stevenson in a 10-rounder. He's going to get like a 8-round stoppage on the Simeon, the veteran. Now, before we go off, I just want to say thank you. You know, we covered some boxing topics. We went into the 13th. I ran over some fights, my top 5 fights. We did some 3 breakdowns. So the breakdowns we're going with Bop over Sandra Robos, Bop to remain WBA female lightweight champion. We did Tetsi and Olean for the World Boxing Super Series matchup 2 for the bantamweight. We're going with Tetsi to remain the WBO by knockout of my man Olean. But hey, I want Olean to win, but I just don't think he's going to do it. And then we went over Shakur Stevenson knocking out Varel Simeon to capture the WBC Continental America's belt. Now, before we go out, folks, I want to say thank you again. Thank you for your time and support. I appreciate you tuning in to the RRT Boxing Show, the Ready Boxing Show, Talk Boxing Show. You know, the actual show, not a predictions segment, not a Mr.A's Thoughts segment, you know, but the actual show. Now we're going to end the show with Mr.A's Thoughts. We did boxing talkers, we did breakdown predictions. Now it wouldn't be a nice show without a Mr.A's Thoughts. And what are we going to end it on here? Something we talked about earlier. The Billy Joe Saunders PED. No one's mentioned this yet. No one has mentioned this on any shows, YouTube shows, articles. What is a common factor in Billy Joe's suspension? Okay, I don't know. What camp is he in? Oh, Dominic Ingle. Didn't Kid Gallahan get a PED bus? Doesn't Kell Brook balloon up and lose weight really fast for fights? And now Billy Joe balloons up and loses weight? 2 out of 3 fighters fail a drug test? A PED? What's the common factor in all those guys? Is it Dominic Ingle? An old guy who's always in great fucking shape? 3 fighters, 2 of them get busted by PEDs by an old trainer who's in pretty good bodybuilding shape. And then the 3rd fighter always is fat and husky in between fights, but loses weight really fast. That's Mr. A's Thought. Thank you for tuning in. I'm your host. Give that thumbs up. Here's my thumb to you. Bring it on back to the show. Please subscribe to RRT Boxing Show.